2, stay out of the basement. Tagline, something's waiting in the dark. ... The extra dot is for more suspense. Live plants. Dead people? Because there's a question mark. I think it would have been a lot more effective with like a period, like live plants, dead people. Dr. Brewer is doing a little plant testing in his basement. Nothing to worry about. Harmless, really. But Margaret and Casey Brewer, those are his kids in case you can't tell with the same last name, are worried about their father. Oh, and it explains it right there. Especially when they ... meet ... some of the plants he's growing down there. How can you meet a plant? Oh, that's because they're not fucking plants. Spoiler! Then they notice that their father is developing plant-like tendencies. In fact, he's becoming distinctly... fuck! He's becoming distinctly weedy and seedy. It's so bad. Is it just part of their father's harmless experiment? Or has the basement turned into another little shop of horrors? Pick one of these up, read it again. It's like an acid flashback to being a kid. It takes like an hour and a half to read one because they're only like 5 pages long. And they're all pictures. These 2 kids, who are 12, the oldest one's Margaret, and then her younger brother Casey is 11, with his straight blonde flowing hair. No shit, it says that in the book. Dad is a scientist who got fired from the university for an unknown reason. He starts doing experiments in the basement, which they're not allowed in, but they go into like 19 times. Oh, and they have juice boxes, right? Juice boxes. They have a phone with a really long cord that like the girl talks on and like ties up around her finger and stuff. There's no computers in this thing. And what the fuck was I talking about? Girl and her best friend, who is a bitch, named Diane, are listening to cassette tapes and reading People magazine and talking about how other 11-year-olds that they know are hooking up. What's the word they use in the damn book? Going steady. Their dad's in the basement the whole time doing his experiments. He doesn't come up, and their mom has to like leave to go visit her sick sister, which is their aunt, but they never say aunt. I don't know why, maybe they don't like her. Weird shit starts happening, and they hear, like, weird noises from the basement. They talk about wanting to go down there, but they're, like, too chicken shit to do it. And then this stupid bitch, Diane, with her stupid red hair, fucking ginger bitch, is like, no, we should go down there. I'm the cool kid. I'm so awesome. I'm gonna flick my red hair. So they go down to the basement, and there's all these plants down there, and they're, like, breathing, and it's really, the plants are like breathing and moaning and making weird noises. It's really fucked up and terrifying. I missed a part. Shit! They're gonna go down to the basement, and they open the door, and their dad's down there, and he's like bleeding, which is awesome. Like blood's like pouring out of his hand, and he like screams at him not to come down, just fucking yelling at him. There are these 2 like what look like phone booths, these like glass cases and like a generator looking thing in the middle of those 2 phone booths looking things. So it's very like The Fly, like, you know, some weird science is going on down here, but not like the hot Kelly LeBrock kind of weird science, but more like the stay out of the basement weird science, which Goosebumps science is fucked. First off, shit happens. I don't remember the order of stuff because it happens so quick. Like in one page they're on the moon, and another page they're, you know, at Mars. It's just, that was a terrible analogy. Dumb bitch Diane gets them to go down there, and they fucking go down there, and they're joking around. The kid Casey, the little boy, is a douchebag, and he like pretends like he's hurt, and they freak out. He pretends like he gets electrocuted or something. Oh, and then he gets naked in the basement. This fucking kid Casey, dipshit. So he takes his shirt off, and they don't want to get caught, but oh bam, their dad's coming back. He was gone, but now he's coming.
Why the fuck did the kid get naked in the basement?
It was hot. It was hot in the basement, and he took his shirt off, and then this stupid redheaded bitch was like, nice bod. For real, that's the exact quote from the book. I remember it because it was so fucked up. And they ran out of the basement when the dad got back, and then, oh shit, he forgot his shirt in the basement. They're gonna know he was in there. So instead of just being like, hey dad, I left my shirt in the basement, I'm so sorry I went down there, the little fucker goes back down there, after the plants moved, and gets attacked by a fucking plant. It like wraps its tentacles around him, and then this stupid sister goes in after him, so now nobody's guarding to see what the fuck is happening, where the dad is, and of course he catches them, and they get in trouble. Whoa! And it was terrifying. It was so scary, these kids have fucking nightmares about it. And then what do? They go back in the basement like 5 more fucking times! The dad starts acting really weird, and starts like growing leaves out of his head, and like being weirder than normal, and the fucking girl sees him eating plant food, and then in the middle of the night, she gets up to like go to the bathroom. Is that what happened? Yeah, she gets up to go to the bathroom, and she sees him unwrapping the cut on his hand from way earlier, if you remember, it's a callback, and it's like green ooze is like pouring out of it. After he's eating plant food and growing leaves out of his head and acting super weird, like this green ooze is pouring out of it. So she gets freaked out as fuck, runs back into her bedroom, and is like, oh, should I call my mom? Oh no, it's 2:40 in the morning. I can't call my mom. These kids are so dumb, it makes me hurt. Dad tries to get him to eat this like green mush stuff. Like he's never made them, it's super sketch, because like he's never made them lunch before in his life. And one day he's like, here, I made you lunch. Have this frothing green bowl of goo. The guy who was the dad's old boss shows up to talk to him and then goes missing. And they find his shirt in the basement. And then they hear loud noises from inside a cabinet in the basement that has a lock on it and a nailed board across the door of it. And there sound like human noises coming from inside. 20 pages later, they frickin' go back into the basement and end up opening that thing, and who do you think they find in there? The dad's boss. No shit. And a guy who looks just like their dad, who claims to be their dad. Oh God, who is it? Now this is happening while dad is going to pick up mom from the airport. But then they find dad in the basement. 2 dads? Who'da thunk? There's this evil dad twin standoff thing where one dad's like, I'm the real dad. The other dad's like, I'm the real dad. And the mom is not like, oh fuck me. She's just like, I don't know what's going on. And there's 2 dads, and one of them has an axe at this point. Oh shit. Right? So how do they figure out which one the real dad is? Margaret, the 12-year-old, gets Casey, the 11-year-old, to give her a knife, and she stabs one of them to see what color they bleed. Well, he bleeds red, so that must be the real dad, so she gives him the axe, and he cuts the other dad in half. Seriously. Cuts the other dad in half, which is awesome. And of course, it's like green blood, and there's like a stem, so he's not like really a person. Yay, it's the real dad. So that shit happens, and then my fucking favorite thing comes after that is the real dad now is talking about what experiments he was doing and how he was trying to create like new plants and how he was trying to make like combine the genes of all these plants using these 2 phone booth things where he puts the genes in one and it transports them to the other and combines them. This is the Goosebumps pseudoscience. And he cuts himself, and some of his blood gets in there, and it transports human DNA into the plant, and then he starts making living plants. But these plants are in pain. He specifically says he can tell that they are in pain and miserable, but he keeps them alive and locks them in a closet and continues to experiment using human DNA. And then he makes a clone of himself that's a plant clone. After all of these like failed alien resurrection, kill me kind of plant experiments that are literally in there crying and screaming and have like half human faces on them. Like no shit, it's in the book. Read this shit. Thank God we're all alive and we're a family again. Don't worry, my leaf hair will fall out because it's a side effect from the experiments I was doing, and my real hair will grow back. Let's have dinner. And I fucking... it's like, it's a fucking scenario of like all this buildup, and then within 2 pages it's like, yay, the world is saved, let's go have ice cream. No, seriously. After they cleaned up, they all went out for ice cream. I'm not even fucking kidding you. But it's a cliffhanger because there's a flower outside and it touches her foot and whispers to her, help me, please help me. I'm your father. Really, I'm your real father. Cover art is badass as shit. That's the thing about Goosebumps books. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like the cover art is so awesome. Look at this. It leads you to believe like Swamp Thing is living in the basement and like taking pets and eating them and stuff. But really it's just this like dad making crying plants. On a scale of like 1 to 10, in normal literary terms, I give it like a 3. But in Goosebump terms, it's the 2nd book, so I give it a 10, I guess. People fucking died a lot in this book. There was kidnapping, there was an axe, this fucking kid stabbed her dad, and one of the pieces of advice that the older sister gives her kid brother to make him less scared is, forget about the things in the basement. You're like living on top of it. It's in your house. This is your dad making like abominations of science in your basement. Your basement. And then they get ice cream. At first, I was a little bit like, ooh, what's gonna happen? There's a little bit of suspense with the basement and like, what's going on in the basement? And then these kids just pissed me off so much that I was like, I really hope they die in this basement. Stay tuned for the next episode of Reader Beware, where Keith is going to talk about the next book, which is titled Monster Blood. He's going to talk about monster blood and the Shakespearean qualities therein.